Alright, so our main character returns from a 6-month business trip. His wife immediately jumps on him, begging for a baby. But this sudden hype, it triggers his suspicion. Like, is she already pregnant and looking for a scapegoat? Since he travels constantly, she could easily bring other guys home without him. Ever knowing. To prove her innocence, he acts fast. The next day, he secretly installs cameras in every single room and tells her that his company suddenly has urgent business. Instead, he hides out in a rented apartment watching his phone. For a week, she acts completely normal. But on day 8, she puts on gorgeous makeup and happily heads out. He immediately figures she is going on a date, so he hops into a rented car, keeping his eyes glued to the building entrance. Soon, she appears, and he quietly follows her on foot. Turns out she is just going to the market. He lets out a huge sigh of relief. An hour later, she heads back home with bags of groceries, so he goes back to his car to watch. On screen, she sets down the groceries and makes a call, asking when they are coming over and if it is still 3 hours. She says okay and hangs up. Who is coming over? His heart immediately jumps into his throat as he agonizingly waits out those next 3 painful hours. Suddenly, there is a knock at the door. She happily opens it to let a man in, and when our main character sees this guy, his brain instantly short-circuits. He knows this guy. It is her boss, Zhao Wuyan. Watching them laugh and eat together like a happy married couple, his head starts absolutely spinning. He wants to rush in right now and beat them both down, but logic tells him to wait for the ultimate red-handed proof. Eventually, they finish eating and head straight to the bedroom. At this point, even though he is burning with rage, he just smiles. But this smile is bitter. He never expected this. He worked his fingers to the bone just to give her a proper home, spending $300,000 on a down payment. He went through so much hell to buy this place and marry her, and just 1 year later she pulls this trash. Watching the awful feed on his phone, a dark, creepy grin slowly spreads across his face. The author really cooked with this plot twist. He exits. The camera app pulls out a burner card and calls the police. He claims a woman is being attacked in Building 6, Room 502 of Qianjin Garden. He tells them he can hear faint, desperate screams and warns that if they do not hurry, she might end up dead. He begs them to keep his identity secret so the criminal does not seek revenge. Then he hangs up and immediately calls a reporter. He tells them there is a massive story breaking at Qianjin Garden and they need to get there fast, hanging up before they can even ask questions. Sitting in his car, he lights up, muttering that he does not even care about his own reputation anymore. He is ready to play the long game. Switching back to the live feed, he casually critiques the guy. Not handsome. Horrible build. Worse than mine. But hey, the guy is a project manager, so maybe he has a bit more cash. He realizes how blind he was if she threw their marriage away for that. Within minutes, multiple police cars pull up. As the flashing lights arrive, neighbors start gathering because, let's be real, everyone loves some drama. Right behind the cops, the news crew he called rushes in with their cameras rolling. Our main character watches this unfold with a wild grin. He is laughing so hard he starts tearing up. Half an hour later, the police escort a fully dressed Liu Li and Zhao Wuyan straight into the squad car. The smart reporter is busy snapping photos from the crowd while onlookers post everything online, whispering that some creep broke in to attack a woman. Some call the guy absolute trash, but a neighbor quickly chimes in to correct them, claiming the woman actually lives right upstairs from her. She explains that the husband is always away, and she constantly hears suspicious noises upstairs. It is obvious she is just cheating on him. The neighbor wanted to warn the husband, but now it is clear the poor guy got totally cuckolded. The rumors are already spreading like wildfire. Oh, they are absolutely going viral now. His plan worked perfectly. Next, he just has to wait for the police to call him to pick her up. He cannot wait to see the look on her face. Back at his rental, his phone finally rings with a call from the police department asking for Mr. Qin. Smiling to himself, he answers in a totally confused, innocent voice, confirming his identity and asking what is going on. The officer explains they received a report that his wife was assaulted, but our guy immediately cuts him off with fake, frantic panic. He demands to know if it is his wife, Liu Li, who got hurt, forcing the officer to try and calm him down, but he just keeps screaming in worry. After getting cut off twice, the officer finally raises his voice, urging the husband to just sit tight and listen to what actually happened. The officer clarifies that she was not assaulted at all. He pretends to let out a massive sigh of relief, thanking goodness she is safe. Then comes the blow. The officer tells him she was actually cheating, and it was completely consensual. Our guy goes completely silent on the line. He plays the devastated husband perfectly. The officer asks if he is all right, reminding him to stay strong through this awful news. The officer begs him not to do anything reckless. With a shaky, bitter voice, he replies that he is fine, but the news is just too shocking. He says he needs time to process this. Then he brings up her parents, asking if they have been notified yet, since they are in poor health. He acts worried that the shock might kill them. The officer goes quiet before admitting his partner already called her parents. The officer says they are already on their way. A devious smirk spreads across our main character's face as he frantically promises to head over right away. Hanging up, he tosses his phone onto the bed with a satisfied sigh. He cannot wait to see how Liu Li handles this mess. Especially when her parents show up. He remembers her dad has a bad heart, and with a cold laugh, he wonders if this will finally push him over the edge. Alright, so Xiao Qin spends hours figuring out exactly how to act. At midnight, he finally heads to the police station. Rushing inside, he puts on the perfect performance of an anxious, angry husband. His cheating wife, Liu Li, looks completely broken. She looks down in pure shame. After talking to the officer, Xiao Qin slowly walks over to his wife. He grabs her hand when she tries to shrink away. He asks her in a quiet, chilling voice why he wasn't good enough. Liu Li just stares at the floor in silence. Before he can say more, his phone rings. It is her parents calling. He warns her to figure out an explanation for them, but when he answers, he learns her dad just had a massive heart attack. Snapping at Liu Li, he tells her to move right now. Her dad is in the hospital because of her. He tells her she literally hospitalized her own father. On the drive there, he rolls down the window for some cold air. Out of nowhere, he asks if she is pregnant. She just stares out the window, refusing to say a single word. He tells her straight up, if she wants to stay married, she must abort it because he won't raise another man's kid. She stays quiet, absolutely crushed by the reality check. Soon, they arrive at the city hospital. They find her mother, Wang Xiuqin, crying outside the emergency room. Xiao Qin rushes over, acting incredibly worried about his father-in-law. The mother grabs his hands, crying and apologizing to him for how terribly they raised their daughter. Xiao Qin stops her. We can talk about that later. Did you pay the bill? He offers to pay for everything, but the mother-in-law stops him, completely ashamed to take money from the son-in-law they wronged. But he insists, telling her that as an orphan, they were the only real family he ever had, regardless of Liu Li. He heads off to pay the fees, leaving his mother-in-law staring at his back, completely choked up with guilt. Overwhelmed with shame, she turns to her daughter. Liu Li shrinks back, calling out to her mother in a trembling voice. The mother snaps, telling her to shut up before delivering a massive slap across her face for hurting such a good husband. Liu Li grabs her mother's hands, sobbing and begging for forgiveness, claiming she was just temporarily possessed by greed. Her mother yanks her hand away, cold-shouldered, no mercy. Returning from the counter, Xiao Qin sees his wife standing completely isolated, and honestly, his villain-era smirk is legendary. Sitting down by the mother, he gently reassures her that everything is paid for and he will cover any extra costs. The mother-in-law is utterly ashamed, crying over how badly they failed him. She promises that if he chooses to divorce her daughter, they will pay back every single cent of the medical bills. Xiao Qin tells her to calm down first. Meanwhile, Liu Li hesitates before slowly walking over and dropping to her knees. She begs him through her tears, pleading that she was just blind and promises never to betray him again. With a cold expression, Xiao Qin tries to pull her up, telling her they should take this drama back home. But she just clings to him, prompting her mother to stand up and deliver another hard slap to her face. Liu Li is utterly shocked. She actually expected her mother to help her guilt trip him into forgiving her. But her mom is not playing games, completely shutting down her little sob story. Xiao Qin secretly scoffs at her childish tricks. This man literally threw away his own reputation. He is built different. After waiting through the night, the father-in-law is finally rolled out of surgery, though he remains completely unconscious in the ward. Urging them to rest, he promises to watch over the bed.
The mother insists he go home instead, telling him he needs to sort out his ruined marriage with Liu Li. He buys them some breakfast before driving Liu Li back. The second they step inside, she does not even change her shoes. She immediately falls to her knees, begging for mercy. He looks at her with pure disgust, but does not help her up. He calmly asks why she did it, questioning if she was really just that desperate for attention. When she desperately tries to promise, he shuts her down. He knows exactly what happens to pretty women when their husbands are away. No surprises there. Liu Li breaks down, clutching his legs and sobbing. She begs him to hit her to make himself feel better, promising to quit her job and become a full-time housewife. He pushes her back and raises his hand high, looking ready to strike. She closes her eyes, expecting a brutal blow. But the hit never lands. Instead, his hand gently strokes her cheek as he whispers that he could never bring himself to hurt her. She collapses into his arms, begging him not to leave her so they can just live a quiet, normal life. He tells her she needs to earn his trust first. This guy is literally playing mind games on another level. She literally begs him, promising she will change. Even though he does not forgive her, he does not bring up divorce either. To her, that means there is still hope. He carries her to the bedroom, but freezes when he sees the bed. She immediately knows why. She slips out of his arms and promises to throw the bed away immediately. He just ignores her and walks out to the balcony. She does not follow him, knowing he needs space. Instead, she starts calling movers to get rid of the furniture. She orders brand new furniture using her own money. By noon, every single triggering item in the house is completely replaced. Especially that bed. She timidly approaches him and says, "Husband, let us eat." He just nods blankly and heads to the table. After lunch, they head to the hospital to visit her parents. He knocks, goes inside, and starts setting up the food. The mother frowns, asking about that worthless daughter. He explains Liu Li is waiting outside, scared she might trigger the father. The mother scoffs, saying if she actually cared, she would not have done such shameless things. Our guy just smiles, keeping his cool. While they eat, he sits by the bed keeping watch. Wait, is that a twitch? He blinks. The father-in-law is actually awake! He quickly steps up to check on him. The mother and uncle immediately drop their food and rush over. Meanwhile, Liu Li is still peeking in from outside. She is too terrified to enter. The mother asks how he is feeling, while the father, Luo, lies there looking incredibly weak. But he keeps a stern face, looking around. Realizing his daughter is missing, he gets furious. He complains that his own daughter is less reliable than his son-in-law. The MC quickly explains that she is actually just outside. He says she's just worried about triggering his illness. The father demands to see her, so the MC heads outside. He pulls Liu Li into the room. Seeing her father's stern face, she bows her head in pure shame, whispering, "Dad." The father yells at her not to call him Dad, disowning her. She instantly drops to her knees, crying and begging for forgiveness. Honestly, the author cooked here because her kneeling technique is insanely practiced. The father tries to sit up but has no strength. He looks at the MC and tells him to slap her to vent his anger. The MC is stunned, unsure how to react. He really wants to do it, but wonders if this is some kind of trap. Seeing him hesitate, the father pushes him. He asks if the MC is even a man. Our guy stops hesitating and boom, a brutal slap to her face. The loud slap echoes through the room. This finally calms the father down. He intentionally forced the MC to strike her. He wants the MC to release his bottled-up rage. That is the only way this marriage can survive. Surprisingly, Liu Li is actually glad she got hit because pain means hope for forgiveness. This is absolutely wild. He hits her other cheek. The father tells him to keep going, but our guy stops, looking at her swollen face. He acts like the good guy, telling the father to let it go. The father sighs and looks out the window. He tells them to leave and promises they will not interfere in their marriage anymore. Whether they divorce is entirely up to him. They will not complain either way. The MC tells his father-in-law to rest well and leaves the room with Liu Li. She follows him out like an obedient puppy. He touches her swollen cheek, asking if it still hurts. With teary eyes, she shakes her head. He takes her to a doctor to get her face treated. Seeing how devastated she looks, he suggests a full physical exam. She knows she cannot refuse. She complies with everything, wanting to prove with medical facts that she is not pregnant with another man's child.
When the clean results come back, he casually tosses them to her and tells her it is time to go home.
Honestly, the power dynamic shift here is so satisfying. Before, she always walked ahead of him, but now she happily follows behind. She has to walk behind. Back home, our guy sits down to write his resignation letter.
His current job requires too much travel, and he needs to stay close to execute his plan. Meanwhile, she starts cleaning.
She desperately tries to prove her worth around the house, while trying her best not to trigger his anger again.
If she asked for a divorce now, his revenge plan would fail. But she lacks the courage to leave.
She cannot face her family's judgment, so keeping this marriage is her last lifeline. Plus, she just saw the news online.
Her affair has gone viral locally, and the public backlash is enough to completely ruin her life.
Now she has to cling to him just to survive. He watches her work, a cold smile creeping onto his face.
He orders her around like a servant, demanding a cup of tea. She quickly drops everything to obey him.
Right now, she is doing everything to please him. She brings the tea over, stealing a glance at his screen.
She asks if he is quitting. Our guy just snaps back. If I don't, should I wait for you to cheat again? Sarcastic or not, Liu Li is absolutely thrilled because she thinks our MC is secretly forgiving her. She even asks what he wants for dinner. He just drafts a quick resignation letter and hits send. Moments later, his boss calls, saying he saw the crazy drama on the news.
The boss tells him there is no need to quit and offers him a few days off to handle the divorce instead. Quinn glances at the kitchen and casually drops a bomb. Sorry, but he is not planning on divorcing. His boss is utterly speechless.
Like, what is he thinking?
He's still young and has great prospects, but our MC just says he has his own plans. He claims she is his first love and he just cannot let her go, then hangs up. The trap is officially set. He hears the kitchen chopping get a lot more cheerful. Yep, he said those exact words just to mess with her head. Next, he checks the internet and finds last night's drama trending. The comments section is absolutely roasting his cheating wife.
Seeing everyone trash her makes him feel so much better. He locks his phone and starts planning his next moves. He needs a job close to home soon, since his 100,000 yuan in savings won't last forever. After dinner, he drives to the hospital. He leaves Liu at home this time to give her some space. Through his spy cams, he sees her sitting alone on the couch. She is staring at her phone and starts sobbing uncontrollably.
Breaking down already? This is barely the start. He smirks, closes the app, and heads inside the hospital.
His father-in-law Liu Hua tells his wife Xiao Qin to give them some privacy. She is a bit surprised, but agrees. She leaves the ward so they can talk. Liu Hua struggles to sit up, looking extremely worn out from the stress.
He asks Qin straight up if he is going to divorce his daughter. Qin instantly realizes the old man is testing him. Playing along, he acts totally conflicted, telling his father-in-law that he has no idea what to do. He says Liu Li was his first love, but her betrayal is unforgivable. He begs the old man to help guide him. Hearing this, Li Hua pats his shoulder, apologetic, and admits his family has let him down completely. He blames himself for not raising his daughter right. He promises to discipline her if Qin decides not to divorce. He even vows to break her legs himself if she ever steps out of line again. Qin acts deeply moved. He knows the old man is dead serious. With a heavy sigh of guilt, Liu Hua asks about his job situation. He asks if the rumors have ruined Qin's career, but Qin just plays it cool, pretending it is no big deal. Our MC acts relaxed, saying he wanted a career change anyway and can easily find work. His father-in-law feels so useless. He tells Qin that even though he is old, he will always have his back. The guilt is eating him alive. At this point, Qin has officially replaced the daughter in his own father's heart. Talk about absolute manipulation masterclass. He reassures the old man to just focus on resting, promising he will handle all the family drama himself. Reminding them he is an orphan, he says he views them as his real parents, which is why he cannot divorce. He claims he cannot bear to lose the only family warmth he has ever known. This is diabolical. He leaves without looking back, already knowing the old man is drowning in tears of guilt right now. He probably wants to disown his own daughter by now. Qin brings his mother-in-law back in to finish their dinner.
As he packs up to leave, he pulls a quick 180 and tells his mother-in-law to go home and rest.
He drives her home but refuses to step inside, telling her to go up alone while he heads back. Xiao Qin watches him speed off and sighs, knowing the trust is broken forever. Her daughter really brought this on herself. She realizes they owe him too much now, so they must support him no matter what. Meanwhile, Qin parks his car. He opens his spy app and catches the mother absolutely laying into her daughter at home. Xiao Qin screams at Liu Li for cheating on such a great guy. Did she even think about his feelings? She screams that this has brought utter disgrace to the entire family and ruined their reputation. She can already hear the neighbors gossiping about how they raised a shameless daughter. Liu Li just begs her mother to stop screaming, crying that she is sorry and will never do it again. Qin smiles. This is exactly what he wants. Isolate her, break her down, and make her live in pure guilt.
Satisfied with the show, he closes the app and drives to the hospital, just as the elevator door is closing.
A hand suddenly stops the door. A soft voice asks him to hold it, and a gorgeous girl steps inside. She looks about 20, but he barely reacts as she asks him to press the 8th floor. He barely spares a glance at the woman sharing his elevator ride before stepping straight out onto the 8th floor. Heading straight to the hospital room, he finds his father-in-law still awake and greets him.
He pulls up a stool, asking why the old man is still awake, but his father-in-law tells him to go rest.
Peeling some fruit, he jokes that if he leaves, his mother-in-law will definitely insist on coming over instead. The old man wants some alone time, but Xiao Qin tells him to stop stressing and just get some sleep. He tucks his father-in-law in, telling him to rest so he can finally get some sleep too. He carves the fruit into a rose, chuckles bitterly at his own handiwork, and tosses it straight into the trash. Talk about a tragic metaphor for his lost love. Honestly, who could sleep after finding out their wife cheated? He slips out to a quiet hospital balcony to light a cigarette, trying to clear his head. His eyes are cold and sharp as knives in the dark. Suddenly, a female voice cuts through the silence.
She warns him not to smoke in public. When he turns around, his terrifying glare actually startles her.
He claims nobody is around, but she holds her ground, demanding he put it out right now. Giving up, Xiao Qin heads back to his uncomfortable hospital chair. First thing in the morning, his mother-in-law arrives. She practically forces him to go home and rest, so he crashes on his sofa, completely exhausted. He is woken up by the door opening. It is his wife, Liu Li, her eyes red from crying. If her father were not bedridden, she would probably have gotten slapped. She apologizes for waking him. Xiao Qin asks for the time. She says it is 11:30. He coldly tells her to cook and resign. Closing his eyes to ignore her, his freezing cold treatment leaves her biting her lip in despair. Before, he would have pampered her. Now, total silence. But she has no choice but to take it. She hopes things will get better if she just endures this, completely drowning in regret now. Hating her own weakness, she regrets falling for temptation, but that regret is entirely useless now. Unless she can literally turn back time, she is stuck living with the consequences of her betrayal forever. Crying silently, she heads into the kitchen. Why do people only value what they had after they ruin it? Xiao Qin does not care about her tears. Forgiveness is up to God. His only job is delivering payback.
He turns on the TV to kill time. After lunch, he packs a food container, staring coldly at her before leaving.
She shrinks under his heavy, silent gaze. She desperately wishes he would just scream at her, but nothing comes. Instead, he just walks out. Liu Li collapses onto the couch, realizing their marriage is completely ruined. She only hopes for a fraction of his old warmth. Meanwhile, Xiao Qin drives back to the hospital exhausted. Sleeping on a stiff hospital chair is brutal, and his quick nap at home barely helped him. Half asleep, he steps out of the crowded elevator and accidentally bumps into someone right around the corner. Turns out it is the exact same girl from the balcony last night. He offers an apology. She recognizes him, thoroughly annoyed. Xiao Qin gives an apologetic smile, but she ignores his hand and stands up. Telling him to watch where he's going, she storms off. In the room, his mother-in-law takes the lunchbox. She says Liu Li should have brought it. He replies that he made her quit her job. The mother-in-law shuts up immediately, knowing her place now. Meanwhile, the father-in-law is all smiles. He says he will be discharged soon and insists that Xiao Qin rest instead of making daily trips. Xiao Qin nods. Later, sitting alone in his car with a cigarette, he dreads returning to his broken home.
He genuinely hates coming back to this house now. Exhausted, he finally passes out on the couch.
By afternoon, Liu Li wakes him up for dinner. Glancing at her puffy face, he tells her to stop crying. He tells her to eat alone, leaving her speechless. Later, she quietly approaches him with a timid look.
She has some news. She hands him her phone, showing that Zhao Wuyan has been arrested. Xiao Qin is surprised. Zhao Wuyan is locked up already? He looks up and asks if she did this.
She nods. Honestly, this woman is ruthless when she wants to be. He is low-key impressed by her move. His cold snort keeps her quiet. She knows better than to try and take credit for getting her lover jailed. When asked about her plans, she anxiously says she will just stay home, cooking and cleaning for him. Our main character puts down his chopsticks and lights a cigarette. Kid stuff is officially on hold. Liu Li looks totally crushed. But she knows he is still holding a massive grudge. Her desperate plan to use a baby to save this marriage is getting pushed back. After dinner, he drives Liu Li to the hospital. He sends her to fetch her parents. Meanwhile, he handles the discharge paperwork and bills. Just as he finishes up, he spins around and bumps right into someone. Their hands land in a super awkward spot. He quickly steps back. He gets this weird feeling he has seen this girl somewhere before. She clutches her chest, jumps back, and yells out that it is him again. That voice triggers his memory. She is the exact same girl he accidentally ran into a few days ago. He immediately starts apologizing. He explains she just popped up out of nowhere. Her face turns bright red, though he cannot tell if she is mad or just embarrassed. Turns out she just wanted to bypass the line to ask a nurse a quick question, but this awkward collision ruined her plans completely. She gives him one final death stare and bolts. He watches her leave, totally confused, but glad she let it go. He heads back to the car. Meanwhile, Liu Li walks out of the building and catches him in the middle of apologizing to that random girl.
She is too far away to hear anything, but seeing him talk to another woman triggers an absolute wave of panic. She finally realizes what she is losing.
Our main character is actually good-looking and has status now, so he has options. If they divorce, he will do just fine on his own. But if she gets divorced, she will be ruined and outcast. There is no way she is letting him go now. She has to fix things. This marriage is her only shield left. Without it, she will face the brutal judgment of the public. At this point, her mother just looks at her.
Honestly, her mother is completely done with her. She has lectured her, hit her, and now she is just leaving her to deal with her own mess.
When they offer to let the parents stay with them, the father immediately declines. He insists on going back to their rural home instead of being a burden. He uses the excuse of needing to feed their farm animals. Seeing how stubborn his father-in-law is, our main character decides not to push it. He starts driving them back to the countryside. Sitting in the passenger seat, Liu Li looks out the window with absolute dread. Going back is her worst nightmare. She can already picture the judgmental stares and nasty whispers from all the gossiping neighbors back in the village. This is going to be brutal, guys.
She turns to our main character, silently begging him with her eyes not to stay there for too long. He notices her sheer panic and doesn't ignore it.
He knows that pushing her too far might backfire. Even a cornered rabbit will bite when desperate. After driving through some bumpy dirt roads, they finally arrive. They pull up to Shen Village, where Liu Li's parents live. It is one of those tight-knit rural places where basically everyone is related to each other. Once the car stops, a swarm of local kids immediately surrounds them. Our main character steps out, trying to handle the situation. He hands out some candy to get them to leave, but then one of the kids asks him if it is true that Sister Liu Li cheated.
The kid literally asks him what cheating even means. The main character's face drops, but he kneels down to keep his cool. He playfully threatens to take the candy back if the kid keeps asking. The kid panics, saying he cannot take back a gift. The kid shoves the candy into his mouth and bolts. But because the car window was open, Liu Li heard every single word. That innocent question completely destroys her. She shrinks into her seat, trembling in pure shame. Her father snaps, asking if she finally feels embarrassed now. She does not even have the courage to speak. Our main character opens the door, helping his father-in-law out, and then walks over to the passenger side. He knocks on the window and tells her to go cook since the parents have not eaten breakfast. Liu Li just shakes her head, begging him. She absolutely hates being here. He asks if she expects her sick mother to cook instead, forcing her to reluctantly drag herself out of the car.
She immediately hides in the kitchen to avoid everyone. Meanwhile, our main character grabs a broom to clean the dusty floor, but his mother-in-law stops him.
She tells him to put the broom down and let her do it later. Her father adds that it is just a dusty concrete floor anyway.
Since there are no tiles, sweeping it is basically useless, but the main character insists on helping out and gets right to work. He ignores their protests and sweeps the entire place spotless. But while he is cleaning, the news of their return spreads like wildfire through the village. Close relatives swarm the house to check on them, alongside some nosy neighbors who just want to watch the drama unfold. Everyone gathers around the table, drinking tea and making small talk. Nobody mentions the massive elephant in the room directly, but the vibe is super tense. The way they look at our main character is incredibly awkward. Finally, Liu Li's aunt breaks the ice, asking him what he plans to do now. He politely asks her to drop it and save him some face. Right then, a crying kid bursts into the room with a bunch of other children.
It is the kid from earlier, crying to his mom that Liu Li slapped him. The aunt sees the red handprint on her son's face and panics.
The kid snitches, saying he only asked her what cheating meant and she slapped him. The aunt looks up, her face instantly darkening. Seeing the heavy expressions on everyone's faces, the aunt quickly backtracks, claiming children say foolish things. Our main character just stays silent, drinking his tea. But the father-in-law slams his hand on the table and politely kicks everyone out, using his recovery as an excuse to clear the room. Honestly, this is the best move. If he lets these gossiping relatives start talking, things are going to get incredibly ugly real fast. Who knows what horrible things they would say? Realizing the mood is ruined, the neighbors quickly pack up and leave. Alright, so Liu Li finally crawls out with the food after everyone leaves. She finished cooking hours ago, but hid because she couldn't face the crowd. Her dad's face goes pitch black. He slams the table, screaming how she dares to have an attitude after pulling such a shameless stunt. Xiao Bao is just a kid. If she ruins him, her uncle will never forgive her. Meanwhile, Liu Li just hides her head like a total coward.
Xiao Qin watches the drama unfold, playing the good guy. He tells his father-in-law to calm down and says he is taking her home now. See, he can't push her too hard yet. If she runs, his revenge is ruined. He needs her parents to leak info to destroy her mentally.
It's a slow burn. It's a psychological war to completely break her mind. Rushing this will only ruin his ultimate payoff. But the dad softens up immediately, begging Xiao Qin to stay and eat. Honestly, the shift in his tone is absolutely wild. Talk about a complete 180 flip from how he just treated Liu Li. This obvious favoritism makes her feel even more miserable, which is perfect. Xiao Qin plays along, sitting back down but hinting he feels too awkward to stay long. Then he gives Liu Li a look to scram. He signals her to get out of there. She gives him a grateful look and scrambles to the kitchen to hide. She doesn't even dare sit at the table. Meanwhile, the dad insists on drinking, so Xiao Qin reluctantly lets him have a tiny sip. Once dinner wraps up, Xiao Qin says goodbye and takes his leave. Liu Li literally runs to the car like her life depends on it.
She feels like she'll go crazy if she stays. Her dad glares at her cowardice, but holds back his anger out of respect for Xiao Qin. He sighs, muttering that Xiao Qin is too good for her and that she is worse than a dog. His wife tells him to drop it. Since Xiao Qin doesn't want a divorce, they just have to accept it. They will try to shield her from the neighbor's nasty gossip. But the dad spits, swearing if she ever cheats again, he will beat her to death himself to save Xiao Qin's pride. Meanwhile, on the drive home, Xiao Qin gets annoyed listening to her sniffling. He coldly tells her to shut up and stop crying. She wants to stop, but the humiliation is too fresh. She begs him if they can never go back. Xiao Qin just smiles. Sure, we can. He suggests she can run away to another city where nobody knows her, but only if they divorce. She could start completely over. It's a calculated test. If she actually has the guts to leave, he'll have to change his strategy. He needs her locked here. Liu Li hesitates, but her eyes quickly go dim. She's too weak. She's terrified that running away will literally kill her father. She can't bear that guilt. Plus, dumping her own shameless mistakes onto her aging parents is a line she won't cross. And if they divorce, she'll be a social outcast while he thrives. Staying married is her only shield to keep her head up. She begs him not to divorce her, swearing she can endure the hate. She literally pleads for a second chance. Xiao Qin secretly smirks. As long as she stays in this city, he has endless ways to make her life a living hell.
He ignores her, letting the silence stretch. Only her soft sobbing fills the car, and honestly, he absolutely loves the sound.
Her misery is his joy. Once they park back at their complex, a neighbor named Auntie Wang calls out to him. She tells him to come over. When he does, she loudly asks when he's finally divorcing so she can set him up with a good girl. Auntie Wang makes sure to yell that any girl she finds would be 1,000,000 times better than some shameless cheaters. Xiao Qin pretends to look awkward, but secretly watches Liu Li. He wants to savor every drop of her humiliation. She is absolutely boiling, biting her lip in rage, but she can't say a thing. He is her only lifeline right now. Panic sets in. She knows he's a prime catch, and with her reputation ruined, she has zero leverage to keep him. Desperate, she steps up and silently stands behind him to mark her territory, but she doesn't dare speak a word. She knows picking a fight with the neighbor will only make her look worse and destroy what little goodwill she has left. If she ruins her last chance, she is completely finished. Xiao Qin glances back, enjoying every second of her desperation. He tells Auntie Wang it's private business, but she pushes back, asking if he's seriously going to stay with a cheater. She says it right to her face, zero filter. Li Li bites her lips so hard it almost bleeds, but stays quiet. Xiao Qin plays along, frowning and trying to leave, but Auntie Wang grabs his arm, refusing to let it go. She tells him he's only staying because he didn't see the bust himself. She boasts about being right there when the cops arrived. She reveals she actually filmed the whole thing on her phone, eagerly whipping it out to show him. Now that's messy. With the crowd gathering, Xiao Qin grabs her wrist, pleading in a low voice to drop it and spare his dignity. She sees his dark expression, looks at the crowd, and fake apologizes for being so thoughtless in public. She promises to show him later. He storms off, actually annoyed. It's funny because he ruined his own reputation, yet it still stings. Hearing it out loud still hurts. Liu Li throws a murderous glare at Auntie Wang, warning her to stay out of their business. Auntie Wang snaps, pointing at her and yelling insults as she walks away. Hearing Auntie Wang shouting gossipy insults down the hall, Feng picks up his pace and walks away even faster. Back home, he lies on the couch and lights a cigarette, feeling surprisingly calm. Then Liu Li rushes in, not even changing her shoes. She walks straight to him and drops to her knees, heads down, totally silent and terrified because she knows any word will set him off. He asks what she thinks she is doing. Gritting her teeth, Liu Li begs for forgiveness, telling him she shamed him and he can even hit her. Fang asks if she has any idea how the neighbors look at him lately. As a man, this is the absolute last thing he needs. Speaking in a completely mocking tone, he watches Liu Li finally break down, grabbing his legs and crying that she knows everything. She begs for one more chance to fix her mistake, but he just stares at her with freezing eyes, says nothing, and retreats to his room. Leaning against the door, he listens to her sobbing with a cold, ruthless smile. Hours later, he walks out and finds her still kneeling there. Talk about a guilt trip. Our boy sees right through it. This pity play might have worked before, but now? No shot. With swollen eyes, Liu Li looks up at him with a glimmer of hope, desperately waiting for him to show even a little bit of concern. He just stands there, looking down at her, and coldly tells her to go cook because he is hungry. He doesn't even try to help her up. Disappointment flashes in Liu Li's eyes, but she refuses to give up. She genuinely believes his anger is temporary, and he will eventually forgive her. But as she struggles to stand, her numb knees give out from kneeling so long, causing her to collapse right onto his lap. She panics and apologizes while trying to stand, but the pain is too much. He simply pushes her onto the couch and turns on the television. Feeling his chilling indifference, she bites her lip in despair. But then he goes inside and returns with some pain relief medicine, telling her to apply it. Her eyes light up with instant joy. She thinks there is still hope, but in his mind, he is laughing. This tiny hope is just his way of stringing her along. He wants her to stay hopeful, so she keeps enduring. Slowly, Liu Li glances at him and carefully slides her pants down to treat her knees. While applying the ointment, she secretly watches his expression, trying to see if he will react to her legs.
Her legs have always been her best feature, and she thinks if they hook up just once, his anger will instantly melt away. Honestly, her plan is so obvious. Seducing him into bed to fix her mess? No shot. Just looking at her makes him sick now. Repulsed by the sight, he walks into the bedroom, grabs a loose pair of sweatpants, throws them at her, and tells her to put them on and start cooking. Disappointment flashes across her face, but she knew it wouldn't be easy. After all, nobody gets over a massive betrayal in just a couple of days. But she already has another plan. Meanwhile, while she is busy in the kitchen, he pulls out his phone to search for a new job. He cannot let this woman ruin his entire life, and he definitely needs money. Unfortunately, the job listings he finds are pretty trash compared to his old gig. Going back to his former boss is out of the question, so he has to settle. After dinner, he heads out to a nearby park to clear his head. Sitting on a bench under the bright moonlight, he spaces out, still unable to comprehend how his perfect life fell apart so fast. Honestly, this is easily one of the most heartbreaking downfalls. The thought of Liu Li is like a constant sharp pain in his chest. He mutters to himself, asking why she had to ruin him when she knew exactly what she was. His life could have been so much better. Now, he is dragged straight into the abyss. A dark, quiet whisper slips from his lips. She absolutely deserves to pay for this. Hating her this much is a first for him, even more than the parents who abandoned him. He lights another cigarette, the tiny red glow cutting through the dark night. Suddenly, his ringtone breaks the silence. On the other line, a hesitant, overly cautious voice calls him Brother Feng, saying he just saw a viral video. Before the guy can even finish, he cuts him off, telling his buddy Chan to stop beating around the bush. Confirming the humiliated victim in that video is indeed him, he listens to Chen Hai. This is his absolute ride-or-die childhood best friend who cannot believe this is happening.
Chen Hai is in complete denial. Feng just sighs, telling him he wishes it was a fake prank too. But unfortunately, it is the brutal truth.
Getting cheated on in the worst way possible is a tough pill to swallow. There is a heavy silence on the other end before Chen Hai asks if he is planning a divorce.
Feng immediately shut that down. He says he will never divorce. Chen Hai knows him best. Since when does he ever just take disrespect lying down?
Hearing this, Chen Hai panics, begging him to stay calm and not do anything crazy. After all, throwing his life away over a cheating woman is not worth it. Reassuring his friend, Feng tells him to relax. If he actually wanted to get violent, he would not even be picking up the phone right now. He knows better than to break the law.
In a modern society, violence solves absolutely nothing. After a brief pause, he changes the subject, asking how Chen Hai's factory job in Shanghai is going.
Chen Hai sighs, replying that he could never compete with Feng. Working like a dog just to make about $6,000 a month, his friend is barely scraping by. Feng tells him he is 23 now and needs to get out of there. As his best friend, he really does not want to see him drifting aimlessly forever. Chen Hai admits he knows there is no future in factory work. But without a college degree, his options are limited. He jokes, asking how Feng managed to get such insane grades back then when they both slacked off.
Of course he knows the real reason. While Chen Hai slept and read web novels in class, Feng actually paid attention. He advises him to learn a trade.
With a promise that once he makes it big, he will pull his buddy out of that grind, the call winds down. Laughing, Chen Hai says he will be waiting. For the first time since his wife Liu cheated, Feng finally feels a bit of comfort, because a real brother always has your back when things go south. Chen Hai nervously asks him how long it has been since he went home and if the old director is doing okay, making Feng realize he has not visited in over a year. He remembers the old man being pretty healthy back at his wedding, but his long silence tells Chen Hai everything he needs to know. Since neither has visited, Chen Hai tells Feng to go back when he can, for both of them. Feng agrees and hangs up. He lights a cigarette, feeling heavy as he slowly heads home. He ignores the neighbors whispering and staring at him on the street, figuring his cheating ex Liu Li must be having a much worse time anyway. Suddenly, a middle-aged neighbor pats his shoulder. He tells him to hang in there, because the world is just like that.
The man tells him to just divorce if it is not working out, and to ignore the gossip, since life is his own to live.
Feng thanks this familiar neighbor, and honestly, this random uncle is low-key a real one for keeping it so real with him. But here is the twist. The neighbor advises Feng to look at things from another perspective once the initial anger fades. He warns him that impulse only leaves a total mess, making Feng smile weirdly as he realizes this guy definitely has a wild story of his own. Our main character suddenly remembers who this legend is. Back when his wife cheated on him, he blocked her doorway and summoned her entire family. He literally forced his father-in-law to buy him a brand new $30,000 car before letting it go. Talk about absolute final boss energy. Now his word is law at home. His wife doesn't dare cross him, but our guy thinks, brother, your style doesn't fit me. My wife's family has no money, but I have my own plans. Still, thanks for the advice. Either way, as soon as he gets home, his wife Liu Li treats him like royalty. She serves him tea and says the bath is ready whenever he wants.
Taking the cup, he glances at Liu Li. Honestly, this maid-like treatment is a little weird to get used to, but not gonna lie, it low-key feels amazing.
I mean, if she wants to act like a maid, who is he to stop her? After taking a sip of tea, he gets up and heads to the shower.
Liu Li tries to follow him in, but he literally shuts the glass door right in her face. This girl almost breaks her nose, her mouth twitching in sheer disbelief.
She starts cursing him out in her head. Like, okay, she made one tiny mistake, but is this level of cold shoulder really necessary?
Angrily throwing a punch at the air, she heads to the bedroom to prep the bed. This trick failed, but she has got backup plans. Meanwhile, our boy finishes up and walks in.
He does not even spare her a glance. He literally walks straight past her and flops onto the bed, cold as ice.
He turns his back to her and immediately goes to sleep. Keep in mind, Liu Li is standing there wearing this crazy attractive nightgown she spent hours picking out.
She picked an outfit that was low-key modest, but still showed off her curves to tempt him. Her plan totally flopped.
Our MC did not even spare her a single glance. Dejected, she crawled into bed, staring at his back, too scared to speak.
Her heart was filled with pure bitterness, but he did not know and did not care. Soon, her soft snoring filled the room. The next morning, he woke up feeling a heavy weight on his chest. Liu Li was literally clinging to him like a snake. And she was completely naked. Bro, he's a young guy in his 20s, and with that morning buff activated, his body naturally started to react. Sure, her figure is top tier, but he honestly just felt a wave of pure disgust.
He shoves her off, gets dressed, and heads to the living room to light a cigarette. Liu Li woke up the second he moved.
She still held a tiny sliver of hope, but his coldness completely shattered it. Talk about instant karma. Feeling completely disgusted with her own past, Liu Li's confidence in winning him back is already crumbling, especially since he treats her like she is totally invisible. No hope of forgiveness. His cold voice echoes from the living room, telling her she is awake and needs to make breakfast. With a complicated expression, Liu Li gets dressed and nervously asks where he is going today. He simply replies that he is visiting the orphanage.
He looks up, an icy, cold stare. He warns her to behave herself while he is out.
Liu Li nods like a bobblehead, desperately promising she will stay in line and never embarrass him again. But he just hits her with another chilling warning. If he catches her messing around again, she won't even get a clean divorce. Her face goes completely pale because she knows this is a straight-up threat. Trembling with fear, she doesn't dare speak. Under his heavy glare, she creeps into the kitchen like a terrified little cat.
She is genuinely terrified and has no idea if he'll actually do it, but she can't risk gambling on his mercy.
Remembering her attitude, he pulls out his phone to buy a special outfit online. Trust me, this outfit is going to suit her perfectly. After breakfast, he drives over to the mall, packs his car with supplies, and leisurely makes his way toward the old orphanage where he grew up. The Blue Mountain Orphanage, nearly 40 years old now. He remembers it changing from a wooden shack to brick buildings. At this point, even their concrete house is looking way better, and the main character still remembers the very first time they met the director. Back then, he was just a tall, skinny guy. Well, maybe not that young, but he looked it. Over 20 years flew by in a flash, and the last time he saw the director, his hair was already starting to turn gray. Honestly, even with all those wrinkles, his smile was still low-key the warmest thing ever. After driving for nearly 3 hours, he is low-key stressing about whether the old dean is going to call him ungrateful for ghosting him so long. He finally arrives at Blue Mountain Orphanage on the edge of town. Carrying gifts with a nervous heart, he steps inside. And the older kids recognize him immediately. They start shouting that their big brother is back, calling out for the director. Looking around at the crowd of kids,
He notices quite a few unfamiliar new faces. It honestly makes you wonder what a kid has to go through to end up an orphan.
He hands the small gifts he brought over to the older kids to pass out, while
he heads up to the director's office. Downstairs, the old director is already waiting. Xiao Qin rushes over, asking why he's out here greeting him. The old man puts on a stern face, calling him a little rascal who barely remembers to visit.
He jokes that he thought Xiao Qin got rich and forgot about them. Xiao Qin quickly apologizes, taking all the blame.
he admits he's been running around chasing money and neglected his real home. The old director looks around, frowning. He asks why Xiao Qin came back all alone without his wife. Apparently, it is a strict orphanage tradition.
Married kids have to bring their partners back for a commemorative photo. Xiao Qin scratches his head, feeling incredibly awkward.
He doesn't want to dump his messy relationship drama on the old man, so he lies and says Liu Li had family business.
But the old director's sharp eyes see right through him. He can tell Xiao Qin has lost that bright, sunny vibe. It's like a dark cloud is hanging over him. The director warns him that he's their best kid, so he shouldn't go down any wrong paths.
The intense gaze makes him slightly uneasy, but the genuine care low-key warms his heart.
Still, some secrets just can't be shared. To change the subject, he pulls out a carton of premium cigarettes. He tells the old man he bought him a new outfit too, though he had to guess the size from memory. Xiao Qin drags him into the office to try it on. The old man doesn't say it out loud, but he's clearly thrilled.
He smiles wide, telling Xiao Qin not to waste money, but our boy just shrugs, saying money's meant to be spent anyway.
Then, the director brings up some rumors about Chen Hai, their childhood friend, getting into trouble in Shanghai.
Xiao Qin is completely blindsided. He had absolutely no idea his buddy was in deep water.
The director notes that even though Chen Hai hasn't visited in years, he's always been the biggest troublemaker of the bunch. Word is, he got into a massive fight, spent a few days in detention, and had to pay tens of thousands in damages. All his savings are probably wiped out now. The director sighs, wishing the kid wasn't so incredibly hot-headed.
Xiao Qin is stunned. He realizes he needs to call Chen Hai immediately when he gets back. Keeping secrets like this isn't right.
It's not what real brothers do. He reassures the director that if it was serious, Chen Hai would have called him for help. The old director sighs, hoping that is true. After all, he raised that stubborn kid. After talking some more, Xiao Qin goes outside to play with the younger orphans for a bit.
After lunch, it is time to say goodbye, but the director pulls him back into the office. He says Xiao Qin is finally mature enough to handle something he's kept hidden for years.
Xiao Qin stays silent, waiting. The director pulls out a well-preserved box from the shelf. And here's where the author cooks up a major twist. He hands over a letter found in Xiao Qin's baby pockets. The letter reads, "Hello, stranger. I am this child's mother, and I had no choice but to abandon him." She asks whoever finds him to treat him well, promising a massive reward if she ever returns.
Xiao Qin's face is completely blank. Honestly, he got over being abandoned a long time ago.
He survived all these years alone, so why dwell on the past? The director gently tries to comfort him. The director reassures him that his mother must have had a desperate reason, because no parent wants to do this. Xiao Qin takes a deep breath and packs the letter away. He tells the director he is genuinely fine. He never even had a concept of parents anyway. The director is stunned, but quickly realizes it makes total sense. Pushing the rest of the box over, the old man tells him to take his childhood belongings.
Xiao Qin takes the box and gets up to say goodbye, promising to visit again soon.
The old man waves, telling him just to keep this place in his heart. Seeing his white hair, Xiao Qin feels a sharp pang of sadness. Time is terrifyingly cruel, silently draining people's youth. He resolves to visit more often before it's too late. He suddenly realizes he only ever called him director and actually forgot the old man's real name. He feels low-key embarrassed.
Not wanting to ask to his face, he decides to look up the orphanage online later, leaving the office.
He passes the playground when a voice calls out. A kid named Wang Dong asks if he's leaving already. Fang asks the kid Wang Dong if he wants to tag along. The kid is down, but then his eyes go dim because he still has to finish school first. Fang tells him to study hard and avoid trouble like Chen Hai. Then he heads back to his car. He tosses a box onto the passenger seat and immediately looks up the Blue Mountain Orphanage on his phone. Sure enough, the search hits. The director's real name is Yang Yusheng. Feng locks this name into his memory. This is the one man he owes everything to. He will never forget it. Feng starts to reach for the box on the seat, but stops himself halfway, letting out a self-deprecating laugh. There was no point anymore. He pulls his hand back and dials his best friend Chen Hai instead. Within seconds, his loud voice blares through. Hearing roaring wind, Feng tells his buddy to stop riding and talking before he gets himself killed.
Feng tells him to pull over. A minute later, Chen Hai says he is parked but has interviews lined up, so Feng gets straight to the point. He asks if it is true that Chen Hai got locked up for fighting and paid a massive fine. Chen Hai plays it off, denying everything.
Feng asks if he is calling the director a liar, completely busting Chen Hai's weak cover story.
Feng snaps, telling him that if he is going to keep secrets, they are not brothers anymore. Seriously, how do you hide something this massive?
Chen Hai mumbles that he was just too embarrassed. When Feng asks who he hit, Chen Hai admits it was his former factory supervisor. Feng asks if the guy bullied him, but Chen Hai stays quiet until Feng guesses it was over a woman. That silence says everything.
Feng lectures him, saying violence is the absolute worst way to handle things, but Chen Hai fires back that the guy was crossing the line. The dude hit on his girlfriend right in front of him, so Chen Hai folded him. Feng asks if it was worth it. Chen Hai says absolutely. Even if it cost him 20,000 yuan, his happiness is worth it. Sighing, Feng asks how the job hunt is going.
Feng does not bother with useless pity. He knows his bro is tough, and if things ever get too bad, he will step in anyway. Chen Hai laughs it off, saying he has not found anything yet, but welcomes the break. He is trying to act like it is no big deal. Feng can tell his buddy is actually doing okay. After a moment, he makes an offer. Since Chen Hai is jobless, why not come back? Feng wants to start his own business and invites Chen Hai to partner up. Intrigued, Chen Hai asks what kind of business they are starting. Feng plans to launch a labor agency using his massive network. Chen Hai is immediately on board, promising to catch the next flight back tonight. Hanging up, Feng lights a cigarette. He wants absolute revenge on his cheating wife Liu Li, and he wants to get rich doing it. He drives straight to a bar to play the part of a heartbroken husband. You gotta keep up appearances, right? He needs to look devastated for the cameras, so he grabs a booth and orders a strong drink, sipping it slowly under the dim lights. The club is empty, but a group of girls quickly spots him sitting all alone. One innocent-looking girl points him out, telling her friends that he is actually quite handsome and definitely has a refined vibe to him. Her friend agrees he is handsome and looks around their age. Talk about perfect timing. They start teasing the girl, Li Shiyu, telling her she should shoot her shot. Li Shiyu blushes, telling her friend Lo Yao to stop teasing her.
She pouts, saying she will keep future hotties to herself. Their other friend, Qin Shui, defends her.
Qin Shui tells her to ignore Luo Yao so they can enjoy the view together. Luo Yao licks her lips, asking if anyone is actually going to shoot their shot. Qin Shui laughs, telling her to tone down the thirst.
Qin Shui says Li Shiyu saw him first, so she gets first dibs on the guy.
Lu Yao pouts, arguing that she saw him too, so she deserves a fair chance. The bickering is getting pretty hilarious at this point. Qin Shui reminds her that she scared the last guy away in seconds. Luo Yao defends herself, claiming that guy had zero personality anyway. Li Shiyu is tired of the bickering, so she slams the table and speaks up.
She says she will get his contact info, and then they can fight over him. They instantly celebrate. Li Shiyu stands there, completely bewildered by their sudden change. She realizes she just got played by her own friends, but before she can back out, they push her toward our handsome main character. Luo Yao warns her that if she comes back empty-handed, she is paying for the drinks tonight. No pressure, right? As Li Shiyu starts walking over, Qin Shui pulls her back. She points out that going empty-handed looks like she is just freeloading drinks.
She hands Li Shiyu her glass, giving her an enthusiastic thumbs up.
Li Shiyu gets cold feet and tries to back out, admitting she is way too shy for this. Qin Shui tells her to cut the shy act and physically shoves her forward, leaving Li Shiyu with absolutely no choice. Outnumbered and outmaneuvered, she reluctantly heads toward Feng, hoping she does not completely embarrass herself tonight. He pauses mid-sip, watching her walk away. It is low-key heartbreaking how a few simple words from a stranger could warm his cold heart.
Back at the table, Qin Shui is eager for updates. She teases her rich friend for coming all this way just to simp over local handsome guys.
Luo Yao literally drags Qin Shui away, mouth covered, claiming him for herself. She laughs that Qin Shui's chat list is already full of ignored guys. Qin Shui says she's just keeping options open, but Luo Yao says those options are basically dead fish.
Li Shiyu quickly stops the bickering and admits she didn't get his contact. Both friends immediately turn to stare at her in absolute shock.
They ask if she's finally giving up on chasing guys, but Li Shiyu explains there's a major generation gap, and the guy seems deeply troubled.
She figures he is going through a massive heartbreak, so they should leave him be. But Luo Yao immediately offers to go over and heal him.
Li Shiyu just laughs it off. She knows her friends are all talk and love to joke around, but then she makes a move anyway.
With her friends cheering her on, Li Shiyu walks right back to our main character's table. Honestly, you gotta love her confidence here.
He notices her standing there, but stays completely quiet. Taking a deep breath, she gently knocks on his table to get his attention. She asks if she can join him for a drink. He gives a half smile and tells her she can sit anywhere, except on top of him. Her eyes light up. Up close, this guy is an absolute visual. Her cheeks flush, but she smoothly slides right into her groove. She acts completely charming and sweet, but our main character remains totally unfazed. He's got no interest in playing any romantic games right now. She introduces herself as Li Shiyu and asks for his name, noticing he's drinking all alone and looking pretty down. She asks if something is bothering him and offers to listen if he needs to vent, raising her glass to toast him.
He stares at her for a solid 30 seconds before asking if she is married. Surprised, she laughs and says she just finished college.
She asks who gets married this early anyway, since marriage just ruins your youth. He shakes his head and tells her that since she's single,
She would never understand his situation anyway. She stares in shock, never expecting this young-looking guy to actually be married already.
Now that she knows he's off the market, her romantic interest completely vanishes. This girl has respect for boundaries, which is honestly so refreshing. To her, a married man is off limits. That single word represents a moral line she is definitely not going to cross. She avoids the drama and asks why he's looking so incredibly depressed if it isn't romance.
She wonders if it's about money, offering her own savings.
He sighs, admitting that might actually be it. He says his funds are too low to survive in this greedy society. She doesn't quite get it, but she senses his deep sadness. She points out that most people barely save $10,000 a year. Since he's still young, there is plenty of time to make money. She tells him to enjoy youth, but he just keeps drinking, speaking with the heavy weariness of an old man. Li Shiyu frowns because she really dislikes how this guy acts like a senior citizen when he's literally her own age. She sharply asks if he really knows that much. Has he raised kids or faced life and death? He just sighs and says she doesn't understand. He explains that age isn't about looks. Sometimes a single moment is all it takes to make you feel old. She just glares back. She didn't come to this bar for a life lecture. She wanted to make friends, but this guy's a buzzkill. Calling him a mood killer, she tells him to keep complaining alone. She stands up, saying their generation gap is just too wide anyway. Leaving, she offers to buy his drink anyway. She doesn't know his story, but leaves him with some advice. Life is beautiful, so he shouldn't trap himself in a cage over whatever is pulling him down.